Imagine being the highest paid player in one of the world's most prestigious football clubs and deciding to go on a night out in Belfast just before a crucial training session. Yes, we're talking about Marcus Rashford. Let's delve into the details of that fateful night out. Marcus Rashford, the star player of Manchester United, was spotted soaking up the nightlife in Belfast. The venue of choice? Thompson's Garage nightclub, a place known for its pulsating energy and charismatic crowd. A spot that can truly make one lose track of time. As the night unfolded, Rashford immersed himself in the Belfast nightlife, a stark contrast to the disciplined training grounds he's accustomed to. However, the superstar's life was about to take a controversial twist. With the break of dawn, Rashford made his way back to Manchester, but the spotlight followed him. As the morning sun shone bright, a video footage surfaced. A footage that showed Rashford enjoying his night out, a night that was meant to be a precursor to an important training session. This footage, a digital testament to his night out, ignited a firestorm. Questions were raised, eyebrows were arched, and the controversy began to swirl. Was it from Wednesday night as United claimed, or was it indeed from Thursday night, just hours before a pivotal training session? Adding another layer to this intriguing tale is the fact that Rashford's trip coincided with his friend Rashford Williams signing for Northern Irish champions Larne. A coincidence? Or a planned celebration? Only Rashford and his close circle know the answer. Despite his recent dip in form, Rashford has managed to find the net in his last 2 Premier League appearances. But will this controversy overshadow his on-field performance? Only time will tell. So, a night out in Belfast. Sounds harmless, right? But there's more to the story. The morning after the night before is always tough, but for Rashford it was more than just a hangover. Picture this. You're Marcus Rashford, one of the highest paid players at Manchester United, and you've just had a night out in Belfast. The music was loud, the lights were bright, and the company was good. But then, the morning comes. The sun is too bright, your head is pounding, and you're due at training. But you're not feeling up to it. So you do what any of us might do. You call in sick. Now, for most of us, that would be the end of it. A day of rest, maybe a hot cup of tea, and we'd be back on our feet. But Rashford isn't most of us. He's a key player for one of the biggest football clubs in the world. And when he calls in sick, people notice. And they noticed this time. Because just as Rashford was settling in for a day of recovery, video footage emerged. Footage of him, out and about the night before. Suddenly his sick day didn't look so innocent. Of course, the club had a response. They claimed the footage was from Wednesday night, not Thursday. A simple mix-up, they said. But the rumors were already swirling. Questions were being asked. If Rashford was well enough to party, why wasn't he well enough to train? And let's not forget, this isn't happening in a vacuum. Rashford's form has been a topic of discussion this year. He's been good, sure, but not as good as we know he can be. He's scored in his last 2 Premier League appearances, but overall there's been a dip. A dip that becomes a lot more noticeable when you're calling in sick the day after a night out. A night out, a missed training session, and a dip in form. But what does this mean for Rashford's future at Manchester United? When you're the highest paid player in a club like Manchester United, your actions are under constant scrutiny. And Rashford's recent actions have certainly raised eyebrows. Marcus Rashford, a name synonymous with Manchester United glory, has found himself in a bit of a pickle, and it's not the first time. The recent incident involving a late night out in Belfast, followed by a sick day call, has raised questions about his professionalism and dedication to the club. Now let's be clear, everyone enjoys a good night out, but when you're the star player of a club with the stature of Manchester United, the rules of the game change. Responsibilities increase, and so does the scrutiny. And when you're making headlines for the wrong reasons, well, that's when the alarm bells start ringing. Rashford's actions have not only brought him under the spotlight, but also opened up a can of worms for the club management. The question that's making the rounds now is, should Rashford be punished? And if so, how? While some argue that a stern warning should suffice, others advocate for a more severe response, perhaps a hefty fine or even suspension. After all, this isn't the first time Rashford has been in the limelight for reasons other than his football prowess. But the issue doesn't end there. A more pressing concern is whether the club should consider selling him. Yes, Rashford is a talented footballer. Yes, he has contributed significantly to the club's success. But at what point does the cost of maintaining discipline outweigh the benefits of retaining a player Even one as skilled as Rashford, the club has a responsibility to its fans, its stakeholders, and its reputation. And while no one doubts Rashford's talent on the pitch, his actions off it are proving to be a growing concern. Rashford's night out in Belfast has certainly caused a stir, but will the club sell him, or will he face a different kind of punishment? Only time will tell. So, what's next for Marcus Rashford? Let's sum this up. Rashford, Manchester United's highest paid player, was seen leaving a nightclub in Belfast only to call in sick for training the next day. This isn't his first time stepping out of line, and it's landed him in hot water with coach Ten Hag and the club hierarchy. Fans and pundits alike have had a lot to say. Some believe that Rashford, despite his recent form, is indispensable to the team and should be given another chance. Others argue that his irresponsible actions warrant a severe punishment, perhaps even a suspension. And then there are those who go a step further, suggesting that the club should consider selling him. Everyone seems to have an opinion on what should happen next. But at the end of the day, the decision rests with Manchester United and how they choose to handle this situation. Only time will tell what the future holds for Marcus Rashford. But one thing's for sure, his actions have certainly sparked a heated debate in the world of football.